All right. And welcome to the dumbest, shittiest, most fucked up, degraded, convoluted, swine flu infested podcast that has ever existed since the dawn of humanity.
Disgusting.
I'm here with a round two guest. Cameron Wilson. The crowd goes wild.
You forgot to add the James in the middle, bro.
Cameron James Wilson.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, because like Blaine and Joe Williams, you know.
Dude, actually, you're right. CJW. Holy
CJW,
shit.
BJW.
Damn.
BJW, CJW. Yeah, cool.
Damn,
Pretty
I
cool,
didn't even realize that, dude. Fuck, look at us.
I'm telling you, dynamic
Brothers
duo in
from
this
other
thing.
mothers. Yeah, dude, that's what it is.
Straight up.
All right, man. So the first thing I want to go over is we had a show back, I don't know, it feels like 10 years ago, but I think it was like 4 months or 3 months or something.
Yeah.
So since that time, I was not aware of this, but you kind of randomly told me on a phone call, you were like, yeah, you told me to fucking go in hard and post all my shit, so I did, and it like exploded. And I was like, wait, I told you that? You were like, yep. We were on the phone and you said that, and so I did it. Fuck it. And I want to say a big congratulations because we were going over the numbers, and he's got more views than I do already, and his channel's only 4 months old or 3 months old or something, and he actually almost has as many watch hours as me. So we were talking about, the main stat that I look at is watch hours because that's like actual consumable content. Like, for example, views is just somebody can come in, check it out, and then leave. I don't really think views means much, which is why the whole world focuses on it, because the whole world likes to focus on stupid, irrelevant shit. I think watch hours is really the main statistic that people should be watching on their YouTube channels. He's like this close to me in watch hours. And I started telling him, I was like, motherfucker, yeah, whatever, you got views, it don't mean shit. And then I'm like, what's your watch hours? And he tells me, and I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I was like, damn, it's some fire in the house, bro. So big congratulations on that.
Thanks, bro.
And then without getting into too much of his current situation, because I'm going to let him decide what he wants to say or not say on that, he's going through kind of the same thing I was going through with the day job, and then kind of realizing that this is kind of what you want to do all day long. You're probably kind of doing a lot of this during your day job already as it is, just like I was the last 8 months that I was there. So I just want to kind of give you the floor for a little while, let you kind of walk us through that whole timeline of kind of putting everything up, what's happened since then, these shows that you've been doing, and then what's happened over the past couple weeks. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's been really drastic, as you said. But again, just starting from the beginning, from what you said in our last meeting, yeah, I've really never put myself out there too much. I've kind of just been under wraps a little bit because I didn't want to have all the stress of everybody laying their stress and problems on me because I know it would happen. And that's kind of why I held back from posting a lot of my videos, because I knew that, people are just going to see what I was doing and be like, dang, I want to learn what he's doing even more so. And so when you told me, go ahead and upload all your encounters, I was like, dang, man, should I? This is going to get crazy. And it did. It just blew up. And because nobody's kind of operated out here on these streets like I do, especially with cops, and then convince them. Normally it's just, get out now. I'm not trying to hear this anymore. And it's bad.
You're sovereign citizens.
Sovereign citizens all the way. You never get any action, bro. And I'm just like, oh. So anyways, and that's just always been the problem. But yeah, so what we did is I finally finished my book shortly after we had our conversation, or meeting, should I say, our interview. And that was November 15th, I think I finished the book, which my first book is The Last Tread, which just means it's the last time you're going to tread on me, the last time, not letting it happen no more. And so we released that, and we started uploading videos to kind of support the first initial book, and when I just blew up, I'm just boom. And it was kind of crazy because I wasn't expecting that to happen. I don't know what happened. It's all been organic. I haven't paid one ad. Not $1 has been spent.
Yeah.
And
that's incredible. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
then I spent like $160,000 at least on advertising. So
that's wild.
Like I told you on the phone. So for you, again, it's just unbelievable. That's just unbelievable. He's literally at the rate he's going, I mean, literally, you had this call a week ago or five. You probably are over my watch hours. Literally, that's how fucking crazy this is. So
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But what I will say though too is I think it's just, well, we'll get onto that. But let's keep going. So I start uploading the videos, and people are like, "Well, teach us more. Teach us more. You need to make this. You need to make that." And it's like, man, now they're really asking for my time. Like this is really becoming, I need your help. I need your help, and I need your help. And I kind of knew from the beginning of doing this in the background for helping family and friends for like credit stuff or just any kind of miscellaneous stuff that I knew I could get deep on. I've been using ChatGPT now for 3 years. So you can literally, if you want, say I'm a ChatGPT engineer for real. And anyways, I was having different ideas in blockchain and different ideas with just utilizing ChatGPT how I wanted to, with cool app ideas. And I still got some that might, develop at some point. But I had an idea to make this app that would develop legal documents, right? And just spit them out to anybody's requests based on certain parameters. And all I could think of was, in the back end, someone's going to get hurt utilizing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to go well because you can get a document all you want, but can you be able to utilize that for real? It's beyond just a document. So when I realized that, I was like, okay, well, I'll start formulating documents and helping people utilizing the technology, making it more efficiently. And it just developed into a full-blown organization now, which is Operation Wise Dome. And we have, within the past 2 months, over 200 people within the Discord, over 50 people that join every Wednesday and Saturday morning. We just had one this morning where we just gather and work on people's cases as they come in. And it's developed into a full-time gig for me now. So I've been able to give up my day job, essentially. Not that I wanted to. Like, I loved doing what I was doing. But unfortunately, things had to go to an end. And now we're doing this full-time. And I'm happy because it's so much more rewarding to help people. It's so much more rewarding. And I'm just so thankful of the position that I'm in to finally utilize everything that I've encompassed with my knowledge to help other people. It's such a blessing. So, yeah.
fucking love that shit. Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that him and I talked to over the phone was charging. And this is something that I've talked to Joe Lustica about. You know who Joe Lustica is, Cameron?
I think I've seen him, yeah.
He's a really, he's literally same path, bro. He's on the same path. He went through all the same things. Everything was free. He's working for a million different people for free, doing a million different cases. And then finally it was like, if I don't charge, my life is going to actually fucking explode like a propane tank. And he just went through that, literally. He just went through that, right? So it's where does the big heart meet the bigger heart? And I think this is something that more people should be talking about, because the whole point is there are a lot of people out there who want to do this kind of work full time. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, fucking A, you know what I mean? To me, it's insane. If you know about this information and you don't want to do it full time, I don't know what the fuck. Unless you're some kind of like sculpture artist. I mean, that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
Besides that, I mean, besides certain, I mean, not to be like mean or judgmental, it just doesn't make sense to me. If you're not, unless you're doing something fucking, crazy or something that you really, really love, which that obviously makes full sense to me, but most people, 95% of people do not fit in that category. So the thing is that there's a certain line, okay? So if you have to have a day job because everything you do is for free, then what you're doing is you're preventing yourself from doing what you really want to do. So it's sort of like being dishonest to yourself in a way, right? But then also, if you were working in this space full time and you charge the few people who really want a lot of your time, your best clients, right? That frees you up to do more of the free stuff so that you can effectively change the situation for more and more people and help more people. And I think of it's almost like a marketing funnel in a way, right? It's like the top people that are the most into it, that want to pay, that want to work with me on a one-on-one basis, especially with what I do. Like, for example, for me, it's litigation. So I'll be with a client for years. It's kind of like getting married almost. It's like common law marriage.
Yeah.
So I charge an absolute fuck ton. I think we're up to like $160,000 just to get started, right? But the thing is that these people are sort of like, they're sort of like my Patreons. It's sort of like my own little Patreon, right? They get access to me all the time. We're going through court cases. They're learning to be full-blown attorneys. I mean, it's like crazy what we're going through. We're in the trenches, do or die together, right? And those few people who are essentially my patrons, who I work with a lot on a regular day-by-day basis, These are people that fuel everything that I do, and then I'm doing these cases. There's all this technology and all the stuff coming out of these cases, and then I'm able to make videos and break down what's going on those, and then all that goes into the free part of the funnel, right? And so it's this beautiful circle where everyone wins and everything is fantastic, right? And obviously, in an ideal world, we wouldn't need to be exchanging Federal Reserve notes. I thought I was going to be able to get access to infinite money a lot faster than it's taken me. I guess I was just way overly optimistic because it's just I just did not think it was going to be this hard to get anyone to talk about anything. It's just no one will talk about anything. It just shut me down, call me crazy. It's literally just gaslighting. I mean, it's just 24/7 gaslighting.
Yeah.
Okay, so. I'm just now starting to come up and out of that, and I'm just now starting to get into where they're mentioning a few things, but saying that I'm a crazy person. So I'm able to kind of get in. I'm starting to kind of get in a little bit. I think me and Joey have already talked about this, Joey Kimbrough. We think this year there's going to be some serious fucking. We're gonna actually start moving the ball down the field this year, which. I'm not going to say winning. I thought I've been winning cases in 3 months. So here I am. I've been pretty humbled. I would say in 2025 we're going to start seeing some serious ball motion, meaning down the field. I think we can win some cases this year, but at this point,
Well, do you have any hints? Do you want to give any teasers on any ones that you're feeling more optimistic about?
everything's available. Everything's open. Everything's on recap. You don't even need a goddamn Pacer account.
I'm saying for you and your opinion, though.
The SBA case is pretty cool because the SBA case got removed. So I'm suing the government. Mm-hmm. So there's a particular section of the United States Code that says that if you sue the government in state court, then and I can do a screen share on this and show you guys if you want to go through a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not the most applicable thing in the world for every single circumstance.
Okay.
But I am going to go ahead and share my screen, but hold on one second because I may need to turn off my HDR first. Let me see how this looks. Yeah, it's kind of overexposed. Let me turn off my HDR. Hold on one second.
Okay. Yeah, it's been really wild, though. We've been having a lot of things, too. It's cool that you talk about the aspect of just litigation, again, bringing that forward. I think knowledge is so much power, just the knowledge in and of itself. And the education that we've been seeing with some of the people is just amazing. But continue. Yes, please.
Oh, yeah. So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Excellent. So if we go to current and previous litigation, and we go down to this is the SBA case, right? We go down to my recent filing.
Okay.
Which is one of the coolest filings I've ever done. Right?
Okay, watch out.
So what they did is they removed the case from state court to federal court, and they said that they're allowed to do that, and it's based off of 28 USC 1442A, right? 1442. So it's based off this, a civil action or criminal prosecution that is commenced in a state court and that is against or directed to any of the following may be removed by them to the district court of the United States, meaning federal court, for the district and division embracing the place wherein it was pending. And then this first part, the United States or any agency thereof or any officer. So if you're suing any officer of the United States, any agency of the United States, or the United States, they can use this to remove that case from state court to federal court. Now, I had never experienced this. I didn't even know this is how this worked. And I got an email one day saying, your case has been removed from state court into federal court. And there was this long, 200-page thing. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
It was 200 pages?
It was all my shit, all his shit, and a bunch of other shit, and it was just everything. And they had there's certain rules they have to put the whole docket in there.
Okay.
I don't know. It was this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And I get this fucking letter, and it's from the Department of Justice, and it's got all the stuff in it with little tabbies and handwritten notes, and I'm just like, holy fuck! It took me 14 days to figure out what the fuck just happened. Okay. So after the 14 days of recovery that I had to have to figure out what the fuck was going on, we go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I'm like, there's no jurisdiction. This is bullshit. You can see all these filings all the way down, right? And then I finally think I figured it out. So
God, Lee, y'all are filing so much.
So 32 docs in, 32 docket items down the line here. I think I finally figured it out.
Okay.
So this is like so fucking crazy and mind blowing. Like I literally didn't even sleep that well the past like 6 days because all this shit has just been such a huge research breakthrough that it just kind of ripped my skull off clean, and it's going to rip yours off too, actually, because it's all involving all this. It's gonna plug into the right to travel beautifully, right?
Nice.
So if you go down in 28 USC 1442, right, and I'm in here, and I'm we're 32 docket items in. I'm on the ropes. Things are not looking good, okay? I filed a bunch of stuff in. I'm filing void orders. I'm filing reconsiderations and motions, and it's just not. The case had already been dismissed, so it's a closed case. I'm trying to resuscitate a closed case, okay? So then I finally come in here one day, kind of beaten down, trodden down, and I'm like, fuck, I got to figure out how to fight against this whole removal. The removal itself has to be eliminated.
Right.
So what do? I start looking for definitions. Obviously, it's me, right? Well, that's what I'm going to be doing. So I go down to the bottom here, and I find the definition of state court. The term state court includes the Superior Court of the District of Columbia, a court of the United States territory or insular possession, and a tribal court.
Well, we already know where you're getting that from here, but I'm going to let you take it.
So then I was like, okay. So check this out. Here's my motion. Motion to void the order.
Okay.
Right? Comes now, all caps, Brandon Joe Williams, registered trademark, the sole proprietorship, by and through the agent, me, Brandon Joe Williams, pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 60B, which is talking about void orders.
Okay.
This case was originally removed from State of California court and placed in federal court by the defense in accordance with 28 USC 1442A fraudulently. They don't like that word.
No, they don't.
They don't like that word.
I like how you did that.
So their favorite offensive term is frivolous.
Yeah.
and when you're talking to them, their kryptonite is the word fraud or fraudulent, by the way, just for everybody out there. So they're going to use the word frivolous on you every other sentence, and then you turn around and you're going to say fraudulent back to them, and you're going to piss them off just as much, okay?
Beautifully done.
This motion is to hereby void and eliminate that fraudulent action. So we have here the definition of state court. State of California is not any of the following items. 1, the Superior Court of the District of Columbia. 2, a court of a United States territory. 3, a court of a United States insular possession. 4, a tribal court.
Got him.
Examples of a territory or insular possession of the United States would be Guam, American Samoa, Wake Island, Midway Island, Johnson Atoll, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, etc. It would not include the state called State of California.
Perfect.
This removal was, ding, 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 fraudulent. Under 28 U.S.C. 1442, State of California would not be under the exclusive jurisdiction of the national government, as clarified in Caja versus U.S. Supreme Court. So this is a beautiful quote, but actually, shockingly enough, this actually shocked the piss out of me. We'll see if it still works.
What?
Go straight to Google. Is State of California within the exclusive jurisdiction of the national government? No. I could not believe my eyes, bro.
Nice.
Even Google will tell you, I could not believe when I did this. I was so blown away. I was like, holy shit. Now, I want to stop for 1 minute because the DOJ attorney and I, right, local rule 7-3. I don't know if you guys know much about the local rule.
Local rules, yes, sir. We're using them.
So meet and confer. Let's do meet and confer, right? What is a meet and confer, right? And if it doesn't come up super easily, I'm not going to go digging for it because it can take a while. Here we go. This is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So what is this local rule 7-3? And this is something that if you're going to be filing a lawsuit, you're going to be dealing with this. And it's actually a really, really cool rule. It's actually really in your favor, okay? So 7-3, right? So in all cases, blah, 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 we'll skip all that. Counsel contemplating the filing of any motion must first contact opposing counsel to discuss thoroughly, preferably in person, the substance of the contemplated motion and any potential resolution.
ADR.
Well, no, this is totally different. This is fully private. This is a fully private. The ADR is totally different.
Okay.
ADR is actually when you're moving more toward beginning like pretrial or getting into like you're starting to get into like a conference. You're starting to plan out the case. This is actually like, even if they're going to file a motion to dismiss, like a 12B6 at the beginning, they have to do this, and they're going to be contacting you, right? The conference. This is another part. Now, these are federal rules. In California, it's the same for state court, but in some states don't have this rule, and I think that's a really, really big shame. Personally, I think this rule is probably one of the most important rules I've ever seen, right? The conference must take place at least 7 days prior to the filing of the motion, right? So what that means is you have to get on the fucking horn, or ideally in person, you're going to be having a conversation about the motion. So I sent him a copy of the motion, and we talked about it. And his response to this motion was, well, Brandon, I've been a bar card for blah, blah, blah amount of years. This is what we do. This is how we do it. And he wasn't being a dick about it. I think I'm adding in a little bit of like dick energy that wasn't there. But that's kind of basically what he said, essentially. And then he also said something about the word includes, which we'll get into later. So I decided to go ahead and just preemptively hammer the ever-loving fuck out of him on that point. So let's read this, Caja versus U.S. This statute is one of universal application within the territorial limits of the United States and is not limited to those portions which are within the exclusive jurisdiction of the national government, such as the District of Columbia. Generally speaking, within any state of this union, the preservation of the peace and the protection of person and property are the functions of the state government and are no part of the primary duty, at least, of the nation, meaning the federal government. The laws of Congress, meaning the federal government, in respect to those matters, do not extend into the territorial limits of the states, but have force only in the District of Columbia and other places that are within the exclusive jurisdiction
Well, guess what?
of the national government. And I'm telling you, I could not believe that Google will straight up, is state of Utah part of the exclusive jurisdiction of the national government? No, it is not.
No.
That blew my mind, bro. So like this is taking even the right to travel to, the nth degree, because now even commerce versus non-commerce can be considered irrelevant. Commerce versus non-commerce is deeper on the fucking question scale than this question, because every single one of those, the first question would be, I ain't in the United States. Am I in Guam, motherfucker? Am I in the U.S. Virgin Islands?
Right.
If I'm in the U.S. Virgin Islands, now we can go to the next level, which is, were you transporting persons or property for any fee, rate, charge, or other consideration? So this is an even bigger, even crazier, even deeper sandbag position. So like, I'm not even going to jump into commerce versus non-commerce anymore when it comes to vehicles. The first thing I'm going to jump into is, hold on a second there, buckaroni. We ain't in Guam. We ain't in Puerto Rico. So, and we're going to get into how all that works here in just a moment. But the thing is that there's no way they're going to win that. You don't even need to get into commerce versus non-commerce anymore, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So this removal only works if the originating case was done in the District of Columbia or one of the U.S. territories/territories. And I'm going to go over that in just a minute. This case never originated in one of those areas, and as such, removal was incorrect. State of California is not a state or state under the exclusive jurisdiction of the national government, which, as a person, would be called United States, as seen in UCC 9-307H and 4 U.S.C. 71. So 4 U.S.C. 71 is... Even UCC 9-307H, they'll tell you like, oh, UCC, sovereign citizen. So what I did, I started using this one. This one doesn't get that same reaction. This one's pretty hot. 4 USC 71, all that part of the territory of the United States included within the present limits of the District of Columbia shall be the permanent seat of government of the United States. So it's like a classier, more legalese version, more acceptable version of saying UCC 9-307H, in my opinion, right?
Okay. Yep.
As such, it's fraudulent. And then here we have the history, right? So U.S. territories slash territories are subnational administrative divisions and dependent territories overseen by the federal government of the United States. The American territories differ from the U.S. states and Indian reservations in that they are not sovereign entities. They're literally possessions.
Right.
It's like you own shit. It's like a trust. It's the res of a trust. And United States is the trustee of the trust, and God only knows who the fucking beneficiaries are, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if you go to the Department of the Interior's website and you read about this article that I have here about the Palmyra Atoll, they say right in here that a territory that is incorporated is capital T, and a territory that is unincorporated is lowercase t. Right? So that's where I got this uppercase T, uppercase S for state, lowercase s for state, right? Mm-hmm. So there's 5 inhabited territories: American Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, and the United States Virgin Islands. And then there are several, I think there's 9 uninhabited territories. And then we have the insular possessions, right? So it's not part of the U.S. state or the District of Columbia. There's 14 U.S. territories, right? And there's even sections in the United States Code talking about the, quote, insular area, right? And then I listed all of the cases called the insular cases, which all happened in 1901, right? Mm-hmm. So summary is, this is all bullshit, and this needs to go back, right? And this has nothing to do with anything. And I say here, even 4 USC 72 shines tremendous light into how this situation works in terms of the functionality of jurisdiction over an area with which the person called United States exerts exclusive jurisdiction over its exclusive territories and possessions. So it's this simple, bro. This is how it works. Mm-hmm. So you have the states of the United States, which is the District of Columbia, the U.S. territories, the U.S. insular possessions, and they say tribal courts. But if you go a little deeper on that, it's actually only federally registered tribal courts, which makes perfect sense. It wouldn't be all tribal courts. It's only tribal courts that are inside of federally registered tribal land.
Okay.
So all offices attached to the seat of government shall be exercised in the District of Columbia and not elsewhere except as otherwise expressly provided by law. So what are they doing when they remove something from Guam or Puerto Rico? They're exercising to move that office or that situation into the District of Columbia. So that's where the federal court would be taking place, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So then we get into the term includes, because it says here in the definition of includes so the guy on the phone, the DOJ attorney, he said, it includes, Mr. Williams. That means it's listing additional things above and beyond state of California. And I'm like, bro, it never says state of California. You're literally just making that up. And he's like, oh, well, we're just going to have to agree to disagree, which he likes to say that. Okay? So the defense will most likely bring up the definition of the word include, saying that it means that it is simply listing additional things above and beyond and encompassing of state of California. This is a linguistic impossibility. Here is a definition of include from Black's Law. To confine within, hold as in an enclosure, take in, attain, shut up, contain, enclose, comprise, comprehend, embrace, involve. Right? It says including may, according to context, express an enlargement and have a meaning of and or in addition to. So it literally means an exclusive list, or it could mean more things.
Right.
And they do that on purpose to make it almost impossible to understand it, right? Mm-hmm. As you can see, the term include would mean an exhaustive list, whereas the term including may involve the expansion of a list. Mm-hmm. The term is includes that's used, right? So the very idea of the word definition means a limitation of or the description of the barriers of a meaning. So the idea that includes would not mean an exhaustive list would, by definition, not be a definition. So
you get deep with them. I love it. All right, keep it up. Keep
We
it
see
up.
this echoed in the definition of definitive from Black's Law. Definitive, that which finally and completely ends and settles a controversy.
Okay.
To say that the above definition of state court is a non-limiting list would not, quote, finally and completely end and settle a controversy, unquote, involving the meaning of the word and would by definition not be definitive.
Right.
This can also be seen by looking at the etymology of the word definition. We have things setting boundaries, limits, limitations. That's the whole basis of the word. It's limitations and boundaries. Right?
Yeah.
A definition to be a definition would be only and exclusively a description of limited meaning, not something failing to describe limitations and in turn only describing additional things that something may be. This leaves the definition up to tremendous debate and creates endless confusion. Our laws are finely and delicately crafted, and our legislation would not make such a brash and ignorant mistake, such as to fail to limit the meaning of a word or term and call it a definition. Any attempt at the defense to attack our legislation bodies by considering them inept at doing something as simple as limiting the meaning of a word is hereby preemptively rejected as unacceptable.
That's beautiful. That's great. Yeah, look at you smiling. Yeah, take it in.
Yep. And then look at this. This is where I give him one last finishing fatality right here. Important note. Just because something has been done incorrectly many times does not make it right. Any attempt of the defense to justify this fraud, that's the word you got to use, by saying that this, quote, happens all the time, end quote, or, quote, we've been doing it this way, blah, 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 end quote, is no less than treason and should be handled in accordance with 18 U.S.C. 2381 as a criminal activity in direct contravention of basic law and the structure of our glorious, beautiful, independent, sovereign nations.
Come on, nasty on them boys. Disgusting. Ooh, that's nice. I like it.
So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I ain't got to get into none of those yet. So you get to show off all the goodies that you got going on as far as your arguments are concerned. I can't even get there yet. My arguments ain't there yet. So we'll get there.
Well,
though.
dude, this directly relates to everything you're doing. I mean, because you can go dude, I wouldn't even get into driving versus traveling, commerce versus non-commerce, because you got to think. If you get into commerce versus non-commerce, you've basically already agreed to the jurisdictional aspect. So you have an option. You can go up to bat 2 times, or you can go up to bat 1 time. And when you just skip past getting into United States and U.S. territories and U.S. insular possessions, you're basically like kind of waiving that first time at the bat, and you're saying, no, I don't need that first time at the bat. I'll just use the second one, right? But if the jurisdictional part, if you fight that and you lose, which that's impossible, you're just going to get basically railroaded. But you still have the backup plan of, okay, driving versus traveling, commerce versus non-commerce, right?
Well, see, the thing is though, is that, all of my videos that I've had in the past, they was all based on what I had known up to that time period. And so now we don't even argue with them no more.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, we're to the point now that I'm not finna give you my ID. Like, you're not getting it, period. I don't care if you're gonna open. You're gonna have to rip open the car door, homeboy. Not getting it. You're gonna have to violate me.
Bitch, get him out. You know what I mean?
You're gonna have to violate me. That's what we're doing from now on. There's no more playing. I'm not giving up my constitutional rights anymore. I know who I am. So if I know who I am, what I look like succumbing to less than what I know that I am, that makes no sense to me. So from now on, it's like just recently, 3 weeks ago? Maybe, I don't know, it can't be 4 weeks ago. Well, I guess it was. It's in the beginning of January. We had on the famous Eddie Craig. And Eddie Craig came on, man, and he was hanged with us for 7 hours, bro. And I was
Jesus.
like, oh my gosh. Bro. Yes, dude. I'm talking about answering everybody's questions. He wasn't tripping. And I was like, all right, that's so cool. So he came on for 7 whole hours, and we got everything we could get about Eddie Craig. And, he's been on InfoWars with Alex Jones. He's been seen over 300 million times for sure. And, several times on InfoWars. But what's really cool is just, everything that I've been doing, that you got an OG like that comes on and really confirms everything he does, and then just gives you like he's just like the other iron that's sharpening the iron, right? And so now with me, I will never go outside of the Eddie Craig script. Like that is the only thing I will do, and the reason being is because I'm putting liability back on them, 100%. Just like what we'll do in our court cases. We ain't finna sit here and argue with you no more against commerce and the right to travel or not, bro. You did all these constitutional violations on the front end that we need to be talking about, and if we ain't
Yeah.
talking about those, then we taking it up. We taking it up to
Yep.
higher courts now. So see, we not even arguing it no more. We not even going to argue the aspects of the statutory applications because see, it's like people got to really start understanding. Because see, I'm more on the statutory side. You're more on the civil side, which is cool, and you're on the deeper civil side as well, which is going to help people when they start moving into those aspects when they need to. But for me right now, I take care of more of the people that are getting their cars taken away from them, you know, DUIs, your people that are just really getting the brunt end of it, for real. But with that, what comes across is everybody always wants to go in there and defend themselves, bro. Always. They always want to defend. They want to go and tell everything that they've learned right then and there, and it's just like, bruh, stop. Stop. We're not going to do that here, okay? We're not going to go in there and tell them about the UCC and the straw man and your rights and all that good stuff that you done learned from all these people across all this time, okay? That is inapplicable at this very moment. What is applicable, though, and just give me 1 second here. Let me see some testola. Okay, we're good to go. Yeah, what is applicable, though, is the aspect that there are so many doctrines, principles, maxims in which you can stop the court right in the beginning of this bad boy to put all liability back on them. The best way I like to put it is a ping pong. This is my analogy now. Right? If you're playing ping pong with your friends, you know there'll always be that one asshole that can't just ping it pong back and have fun. You know, like let's just ping it pong and ping pong. There's always that guy that wants to, you know, and just there's always that person. They've got to show how badass they are, right? Bro, if you got to remember, sometimes all you got to do is a quick ping. Just ping it back to them. Then get you a whole bunch of balls and just start pinging them all at once. Ping, 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 back to back to back. You know what that does? That drains the prosecutor. The prosecutor's got so many cases to work. You think he's going to answer every single thing that he has to? And if he doesn't, guess what? It's a violation, baby. It's a violation. So, you know, we get on that, and then also the deeper principles, which is like rule of lenity, your whole act rule, your exclusionary rules. I mean, there's so many aspects. Like, for instance, since we've last spoken, I've brought on a guy who has become, I guess, the golden child of the channel thus far. His name is Luis, and we followed it seriously. He has. We followed his story from very beginning and contacting me up until this past Monday. And you can see the differences of, you know, what happened. He was parked at a gas station, you know, just chilling, bruh. And the cops come up harassing him. He reserves his rights. They take him to jail, leave his family stranded. And dude even had a driver's license. So it was like, what are we arresting here for? Because he had on his vehicle, his automobile, one of these old things he made on his own. A placard.
Oh, yeah.
A notice placard, okay?
What was on his, by the way?
His said, 777. And at the bottom it said Title 18, 242. That's it. He just had 007. You can have whatever you want on your plate, bro. You really can legitimately have whatever you want on your plate. You can't. You don't even need nothing. We're not going to go into that, though. The aspect is they were supposed to give him a ticket and let him be on his way. They did not. They had one guy show up. He conspired with the others, called another policing agency, and they took him to jail for a forgery felony charge. Now, you tell me how making my own damn private property ends up being a forgery. Now, let's get into it. I just threw that out of here. Now, forgery is applicable only if we get into the definitions. Now, I could do all this stuff and go searching and show you all down like Brandon Williams, but I got it pretty memorized here. So we're going to go
this too. I've also worked with a couple of these cases.
Okay.
So keep going.
Yeah. So when we get into forgery, they have the definitions in there. What is a written instrument, Brandon? Could you tell everybody real quick?
Written instrument would be something that, well, I don't know the exact definition, I guess.
It's okay. A written instrument is, first two words, a paper.
Are you serious?
Yeah, a paper, document, or other type of, right? right off the bat.
It's like when people get those temporary paper tags after they buy a car at the dealership, kind of a thing. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's an official form, right?
Yeah, that's
so
correct.
if I was to take that and fill in my own information or reprint that and put in that would be forgery.
Yeah.
Not you making your own private property. So with forgery, there also is another element. You know that and, not or, but and, which means included, right?
Yep.
So intent to defraud. With intent
That's
to
what I was
harm
just going to
or
say that.
defraud.
I was just going to say that, yeah. And then if you go down that rabbit hole, defraud, it has to do with like financial transactions or making money or like copyright. Like for example, we had these diplomatic plates, right? I'm sure you're aware of them, right?
Yeah.
So we were putting the U.S. Department of State symbol on those for a long time, and then finally the U.S. Department of State actually sent a cease and desist order to Speedy Signs.
Good.
To stop putting. They didn't say anything else about the plate.
Yep.
They just said the seal can't go on the plate.
Yep. And
they started printing. People were still ordering these things. They started printing them, including me. I had ordered some extra ones, and they came, and there was nothing there. And that's when I called Speedy Signs. I was like, "Hey, there's no seal here." That's when I found out from. I think it's a small operation, so I think the lady that runs it or whatever. She says, "Oh, that's because I apologize. We got a cease and desist actually from the Department of State. We can't put that seal on there anymore." So what did I do? I took my Nation of the Amnesty Coalition coat of arms right here. Mm-hmm. I put a little circle around it, and I did the exact same font with the two little stars, just like the Department of State does. Nation of Amnesty Coalition, Department of State, right around the. And then I just stuck that bad boy on the upper left, so it looks very similar to the U.S. Department of State. And then we tried to get those printed, and they stopped those. And I said, that's not the U.S. Department of State logo. That's my Department of State logo. And she goes, oh, shit, yeah, I thought this was the U.S. Department of State logo. And then they started printing them again.
Okay, good. I was like, whoa, wait, hold up. Look again, woman. But that's good that you got. Now, what's good about that, though, is in the actual forgery charge, right? It does state in the emblem, seal, or anything like that. So, yeah, for sure. But what is really good in that aspect is, again, there has to be a notice. And they gave you your notice by cease and desist directly to the person printing them, which is how everything is supposed to go. And this is, I guess, would be a good segue to go into maybe the cease and desist and how applicable it is in real life situations, right? So you want to preface that with anything or no? You want me to just go into it? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So recently I had to put a cease and desist into action, and it really just shows how powerful cease and desists are. Okay, so let's just say a situation that I've had recently in real life. What I had was someone that was defaming me. They were taking advantage of just their closeness to another person, and they was able to maneuver another person to, I don't know, believe them in their line of thinking. I'm assuming from my perspective and viewpoint. And in such, because me and this person didn't get necessarily along, it's not like I disliked her. We don't get along. It's okay. I don't have to. But this person just was defaming me and saying things that were not true about me, and it ended up ruining my relationship with my client. See, I'm 1099. I run my own business. I got my own sole proprietorship. And I will never be an employee, okay? Because an employee is a slave and you have no rights, okay? You can be dismissed at any point in time. You have to follow these stringent policies and procedures that you may not want to. You're just not free, right? And I think what we all know and understand is the aspect that contract law is the highest law of the land, okay? Not even the Constitution can override a contract that I have with somebody else, period. Yeah. That's how this works because, again, line of authority is the creator, whatever you see in that.
The Constitution literally says, no state shall come between the obligation of contract. It's right in Article 1, Section 10 or whatever.
So right off the bat, we know for a fact that contract law between man and man, individual parties, is superior to all. So either way, this person was just defaming me, and I had a contract with my client, which is a business, and I don't have stipulations other than I am to perform my services. Well, my services are not to be an employee. They are not tied down to any kind of policy or procedures in which employees are bound and regulated by. I am a free living man to operate how I see fit. And you can only ask and request in that. It's not a prideful thing. It's just that's how I live my life, and there's nothing wrong with that. Either way, this person was defaming. This person was saying bad things, and I sent privately a cease and desist because the initial conversation with my client it wasn't bad. It just was more towards leaning towards this person, not addressing the issue. And within 20 minutes of sending the cease and desist to that person in their private capacity, I had a call from my client, the owner, stating that our contract is now terminated. Oh, oh no. Let's break it down just a little bit. So I moved from Portland to Yakima, Washington, okay, in July of last year. Made a career move. I'm the #1 consultant in Oregon and Washington in this industry, okay, in my area. I wouldn't move for any other reason other than a career move to bolster and boost up my career even more, okay? That's what it was about. Career move, move the whole family, new house and all. We make this move knowing that I'm going to be with this place in this area working this because I've been perfect in doing it for 3.5 years now for the next 5 at least. A lot of money coming out to the Tri-Cities area. $3 billion approved for the Hanford job site cleanup alone. So much money to be had. And because I sent the cease and desist letter, this lady freaked out, don't understand law, and sent the cease and desist letter to the owner, thereby breaking the cease and desist letter.
Oh my God.
Doesn't even realize it. Doesn't even realize that sending the cease and desist letter to him, letting him know, thereby breaks the cease and desist letter. She's already done for in that aspect, right? So we send it over. Homeboy gets it. He calls me up. He's very emotional. Not sure why. But all I heard was, you can't be sending cease and desist letters to my employees. And that's just not true. I don't see how that's applicable. So the contract got terminated. I had appointments the next day. They were already sold over the phone. Somebody else goes and works it. I go out and talk to that person. I meet him at the appointment. I say, hey, man, do the right thing here. My contract has not been terminated. It can't be terminated. You know, these are my leads. I sure hope you don't want to get yourself involved in any kind of legal action because I really don't want to get you involved. I just want you to do the right thing. He chose not to do the right thing morally. Cool. It is what it is. Then we move on to the aspect of, hey, I'm going to have my attorney reach out after I citizen notice and demand of arbitration, right, for the breach of contract now. And I haven't heard from the attorneys yet. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen. I've heard from him. He has now sent me 3 different formal notice of terminations, and each one of them is reaching for a new allegation to try and bring into the equation. But it's like, dude, you're already breached, bro. You've already breached. So everything that you're talking about over here is not applicable when you're in breach of the contract. So it's not how this works.
It's actually even worse because now you're collecting all this evidence showing that he's just reaching for fucking straws, and it's just going to look bad in court. Yeah. That's not good, man. Nope. Well, you know, that's the very, very, very few people know anything about any of this, and that's why it's so cool, you know, teaching it and showing people because, man, it sure does switch your life around from feeling like you're just, you know, this fucking broken log drifting down this river and anyone can fuck with you to you start to realize real fucking fast that you become the big dog on campus real fucking fast when you start learning this stuff, man.
Yeah, when you start learning it for real, knowing what you are, it's all knowing. That knowing core principle of who is in charge, who has a performance that must be done, who has taken an oath. Okay, these performance bonds are real. Let's understand that, y'all. These oaths are real deal, Holyfield. Okay, and they're not just to us; they're to God. And whatever you may call that, everybody has creator-endowed rights. Our liberties, which are sacred, cannot be taken away. They cannot be spoken of, diminished whatsoever. But you have to know it, because once you know it, then you can enforce it and know the procedures in which to enforce it and really make people sit down. Not to be rude, not to be, you know, I'm not trying to sit here and be like, I'm that guy. But, you know, sometimes people just need to sit down. Okay, and just really realize what they're doing is well beyond what they could literally do, even close. If people just realize that little bit, boy, this nation would come back together so quick.
Yep.
And that's what we're hoping for. So,
yeah, it comes down to, you know, how to win in court. Dr. Graves' course, which I enjoyed. He talks about the basic simplicity of all litigation and legality is duty, breach, damages.
mm-hmm.
There's a duty. How is the duty established? Well, we had this contract that he signed. Here it is, Exhibit A. Okay, good. Now we have this duty. You promised you were going to do these things under these certain circumstances. Did you ever receive payment to do those duties? Yes, I did. Okay, good. So we've now established a duty. That's A, right? B, the breach. So now the evidence, Exhibit B, would be the texts, the phone calls, the voicemails, that prove that there was a breach of what was mentioned in previous Part A, the duty. And then C would be an explanation of the damages that occurred because of the breach of that duty. And then you'd have Exhibit C, which would be evidence. Even affidavits are considered evidence. So on that damages section C, you would have, here's all the damages, and then you would have an attached affidavit that if you don't have evidence that you can provide that might be physical evidence, an affidavit alone is considered evidence under the local rules of evidence 602 and 603. So that, what I just told you right there, is basically litigation, writing a complaint in literally a nutshell. I mean, you add the jurisdiction part and the parties up top, which is a little section. You add at the bottom what your requested relief is, which some people do that and some people don't. When you look up the actual legal definition of the word complaint, it says that the request for damages and stuff like that is actually part of the definition. So I put it in there. Other people don't. Sometimes Joey even doesn't. It depends on who you're talking to. I try to stick to definitions. So because the definition says it should be in there, I put it in there. But that's it. The whole complaint is basically that simple when you boil it down. So as long as you have those elements, then you put it all together, you file it, and then now, the defense has to do something about it. They have to defend that position, and that's probably what exactly sounds like you're working on.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm trying to see if I can find the initial one that I sent over, just because I can show it real quick. Let me see. I'll show y'all real quick because I ain't really tripping on it. This is all real talk. So, I mean, we should be good here.
To prove defamation, it's the same exact process. Like, a lot of people think that, a lot of people are scared to say anything about me because they think I'm going to come after them in 5 seconds. I'm really not. And the reason why is because if I go after you, I have to prove that whatever you said about me damaged me. And the beauty of having my brand be called onestupidfuck.com, there ain't nothing no motherfucker's going to say or do that's going to harm or damage my brand. My brand is pretty well fucking insulated. So good luck.
So within 2 hours of him calling me on the phone and saying our contract is terminated illegally, this was sent over. Okay, I'm not playing with him no more, bro. Like, I figured out all I need to figure out to put everything I need to into action. So pursuant to the dispute resolution and governing law clauses of the agreement and consistent with the Idaho law, because everything from our contracts based on Idaho law, the Idaho Uniform Arbitration Act, and any controversy arising out of or in connection with the agreement must be arbitrated under Idaho law. Where applicable, the Federal Arbitration Act, 9 U.S.C. Section 1 et 6, may also govern the enforceability of the agreement's arbitration clause. Factual background: execution of subcontract agreement on July 10th of 2024. Claimant and respondent entered a subcontractor agreement, the agreement under which a claimant was performed independent contracting services related to design consultation, sales, and lead generation. The termination included a 30-day notice requirement for any termination that is not based upon an incurable breach, and B, an immediate termination provision only upon a material breach within said agreement, plus a failure to cure within 30 days. So either way, I still got 30 days. You can't just do it automatically like you think I don't get no provisional time? Huh? Where they do that at? Abrupt termination by respondent. On or about January the 30th, respondent, through its owner, unilaterally terminated claimant services without providing any 30-day notice or identifying a breach and granting a 30-day cure period. Now, let me tell you something. Here it goes right here. Instead, the dude cited Mr. Claimant's cease and desist letter concerning possible defamatory remarks as the ostensible reason for immediate termination. However, no formal notice of breach was issued. So you terminate the contract based on a cease and desist that I did not send to you? What? Oh my God. And then in every formal notice that you send to me, you never include the aspect of why you terminated me, which was cease and desist? What? Oh my gosh. I can't wait to get into arbitration or into court. lack of good faith and fair dealing. Claimant asserts that respondent's abrupt termination contravened the express contractual terms and the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, resulting damages. Claimant's inability to continue performing has led to the loss of current and future commissions. Bro, I was just over at American Legion, bro, where I was supposed to sell I was just about to sign a $38,000 deal. Commissions, lost income, and reputational harm. Everything cited. Everything, footnotes and all, baby. All in my district.
Damn.
Right in here in Idaho. We not playing. Nature of the dispute. Everything I got to say is backed up 100%. Nature of the dispute. The material dispute centers on whether respondent has breached the agreement by failing to adhere to its own termination procedures and thereby causing claimant substantial damages. Claimant asserts that respondent failed to provide 30-day written notice of termination for any reason other than a material breach, establish or communicate a material breach by the claimant, or provide any 30-day cure period, and maintain the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing in the performing of the agreement. Breach of contract, implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, wrongful forfeiture of commissions, relief and remedies. So that was just the first one we sent. I'm not even gonna go into the rest of them because I'd sit here for another 20 minutes going over what I've had to send back and forth to this dude. But there's no. How do I back up out of this? Oh, I do a stop.
On the bottom, just do stop share.
Stop share. Okay, there it goes.
There you go.
Yeah, so we're not finna argue with him on this. I did have a conversation with him recently. I've introduced a reinstatement fee. If he wants to reinstate the services based on the aspects of the damages that's already been caused to me, he can pay up for that. If not, we're just going to go for the $100,000 initially as a payment to just get rid of everything through arbitration if you want to terminate the contract. If not, then we'll just go for a full $500,000 because I'm telling you, I know for a fact I would have made $100,000 plus every year for the next 5 years, bro.
So what is what is the structure of the company that he has, and what is the type of employment that this other employee that you sent the cease and desist to? Are they W-2, W-4?
So the relationship in this situation is the fact that yes, I'm 1099 or just contractual agreement. They're W-2 employees. And
what's the structure of the company? Is it S corp or C corp or is it LLC?
It's an LLC. It's LLC.
Okay, I'm tracking now.
Yeah, it's an LLC.
Continue.
Yeah, we got they have like three different locations. What's really amazing is that the manufacturer in this industry is amazing. They are a household name. They are the go-to in this industry. There's no one better. American made. It's good to go. And I'll never work for another company because I will never sell a product that is inferior than what I know to be out in the market. That's just disservice. It's immoral, right? So when it comes down to it all, there's a whole bunch of dealers all across the nation, and these dealers are independent businesses, and this one was an independent business. And they had 3 different locations, and I was to work this whole regional area. It's a huge area. And one person had just been around the longest at the company, saw that I came through, did really good, got the attention of the owner. The owner was saying, hey, y'all need to start doing it. Like Cameron's saying, even within our contract, it says that one of my services are to provide coaching to other employees. Literally says that. You are to coach other employees. Like, that's part of my services. But yet I can't do that because someone thinks that they're just, better. And it's not even about being better. It's just, I don't know. I guess some people just don't always get along with other people, and I get along almost with everybody. So I don't know what happened.
I couldn't imagine you not getting along with somebody. I would think. I think the only thing that could get you to a point where you wouldn't be getting along with somebody is if the other person was really involved in a lot of irrelevant bullshit or political type bullshit or like some kind of weird, like HR. I could imagine like you and I are like the most fucking. You and I are like the villain to an HR department. I really do believe
yes,
that.
That is true. 100% agree. But I'll put you in. Hey, do you know there's a type? You ever known a type of person that, they're not married, they don't have a husband, they're in a new career field, and they dedicate their whole lives to just figuring out every aspect of that career field. Like they know the ins and outs, they know every single thing about it. Like. If you question them, they're gonna know it for like perfectly. You'll, oh yeah, I could.
Sounds like me, honestly.
Okay.
I don't know. You talking about me, brother. What's going on? We got to cut this show. Thank you very much, everyone. Nice to have you. See you later. Click.
I guess what I'm thinking though is more of the employee aspect thing. I don't know. Okay, I'm trying to figure it out. In the work aspect though, like as I don't know, they just don't have much outside of work, right? And that's all they focus on 24/7. I know you have something outside of work, okay?
I got a motorcycle.
Okay, yeah, and you have fun. You got friends. I'm sure you got hobbies. So, but this person doesn't. This is their hobby, right? And this is what they do, right? In every single waking day. So, when you come up, let's say if I was to go to a meeting, I'm not going to be that person that's going to recite all the numbers. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to be the person because that person, that client, doesn't want to hear that. They want to hear the warranty. They want to know the colors. They want to know how professional you are. And when can you come out and do it? And what's the best price? All that extra stuff sometimes doesn't matter, but sometimes people want to utilize though it does, right? So these are things that I've been able to incorporate and help others in their sales performances is stop being the robot and just go out and be the friend. Go out and be the friend, man. Yeah. Get to know someone, be their friend, and make sure that y'all just have conversation. Quit trying to be the robot, bro. Don't nobody want to hear all that. They want to pick a good color and know that they're getting a good product. And that's all there is to it.
They want to know that if they buy a package within the next 48 hours, they're going to get a special gift. Mm-hmm. Special gift is they're going to be allowed to sit in the passenger seat while Cameron James Wilson drives down the road, gets pulled over, and fucking makes absolute fucking mincemeat out of a whole handful of fucking police officers.
5 of them at a time now, you dig? 5 of them at a
Only
time.
if you sign in the next 48 hours, motherfucker. You don't sign, you don't get the bonus, all right?
Okay, now this is gonna segue into a story. I want to tell you a story, okay?
Yeah, please.
This isn't the first time I've told it, but I think it's gonna be the first time that people actually get to hear it and notice it.
This is what I wanted to talk about. Good. This is what I want to talk about.
Okay. Now, this is kind of crazy because I had a wild situation. So, if people don't know, I'm an amputee, okay? I had gotten into a car accident when I was younger, and I ended up, let me see. Yeah. I ended up getting into a car accident, and I lost my leg, okay? It was very tragic. It was very crazy. It was a scary situation. I died. They brought me back to life. It was just all over the place. It was a very scary situation. So either way, what ends up happening is I lose my leg and I get a prosthetic and I'm coming back and I finally get a house, my own house, and I had just gotten a new Cadillac and I'm just getting back to living. I got out of the depression and stuff like that, right? So I get out of the depression. Yep, there we go. Pulling up these papers, sorry. I get out of the depression and everything. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Okay. So I get out of the depression, and like I said, I moved. Good girlfriend. I got friends over. I think we're playing like NBA 2K, and they was like, get Madden, bro. Well, GameStop is literally like 2 miles away from my house. So I drive up all by myself, or travel, should I say. I travel up all by myself. Well, at this time, actually, I was driving. I still had a driver's license, but I mean, whatever. But I travel up to the GameStop, and it's in a shopping center, okay? This is in East Dallas, okay? And I pull up to in the shopping center, and there's no handicaps, y'all. I got shorts on, and I got my prosthetic, of course, and I'm not walking good. I'm still limping around. Like, now, I can walk, you'll never know, bro, as amputee. But at this point, I'm still limping and all, and there's no handicaps. So I just park right in front of the GameStop, and I turn on my hazards and park, and I get out, and I go in and say, you got Madden? Yeah, they got Madden. I'm getting in line. Well, this guy walks in, okay, and he's in blue jeans. He's got New Balance tennis shoes, 6'3", 49 years old, maybe in his 50s, and he's got a Saints jersey on and a badge around his neck. And I'm like, oh, I'm all security. And he's like, whose Cadillac's this out there? I'm like, that's mine. Don't tell it. What are y'all doing? And I get to walking, and I'm always just having fun with people. So, of course, what? Don't tow my car. What y'all got going on? And I come outside, and I get out there, and he starts walking around my car, okay? Now, as he's walking around my car, I was like, what's going on, man? I see his car's a Crown Vic. It's white. It's got the little light in the dashboard, right? Nothing crazy, I'm all security ass dude, Crown Vic, all white. And he's walking around the back of my car, and I was like, what are you doing, man? What's up? What's going on? He's like, well, don't you say you're over here parked in the fire lane, and your tent's way too dark for the standards here of Texas, legal standards here in Texas. I said, man, if you don't get away from my car, let me move my shit, man. You best get out of here, man. That shit. He says, go ahead, get in and move it then. I said, man, well, you need to get up out of my way. You're walking around my car like that. and he's walking all around the front, and I get in. And this, I can't remember the song for the life of me. If I searched, I could probably remember. But it was 2 Chainz. I remember that. And he had just come out with this album, and it was something about F the Police and something. It was on point, and it was right on when this guy was at my window. So he comes to the front of, over to the side of my window, and I'm getting in. And I start up the car, and he comes down, and my window's down, maybe about that much. And he comes up, and he's standing there, and he's just looking at me like this. He's got his hand on his hip. He's just looking at me, right? And I was like, if you don't get your bitch ass away from my car, as soon as I said that, oh my God, he ran to the front of the car and pulled out a 357 Magnum, okay? He in front of my car now. I already had the car in drive. Bro. So I've got, my right leg is the leg that I lost, okay? So I got my right leg, or my left leg on the brake at this point, and he's over here. When he comes to the front of my car, I'm looking at him, he pulls out the gun, a laser comes out and it's pointed. Boom, it goes like this. I flinch and let go of the brake with my leg and go, and flinch like this over to the, window door side. When I do that, my right leg is the prosthetic and it goes on the gas. This dude's now falls on front. Boom! On front of the car with the gun pointed at me, right here in my fucking face. Excuse me. Right here in my goddamn face. Excuse me again. Pointed at me. And I'm like, when I come to out of it, he's right there in front of me with the gun, looking right at me. And we hit the curb, because, I was parked on fire. We hit the curb. Boom. He goes. We hit the curb. And when we hit the curb, the wheel turns like this, so I grab it. And when I grab it to turn it back, he rolls off. Just like that. I'm talking about rolls off. Well, I don't stop. What? I'm not finna stop. He gonna get up and shoot. Okay, I know better. So I drive all the way home. I get home, and all my friends are in the house. I scream at them, get the F out of here now, bro. Y'all got to go. I just hit the police. So they all leave. They like, what, Cameron? I was like, I hit the fucking police in my car. Leave now. Okay. So here, let me do this. So this is what goes on, okay? So this is what goes on. So share, screen, boom, share, boom. Okay. So right here is the police report. Okay. Let me see. Is this it? The car location. No, this one ain't it. This one. Let's see, is it this one? Yes, there it is. Okay. Affidavit for arrest warrant. Okay. This is the affidavit that they came and put on me based on the information that they had as far as what was going on. So, Dallas complainant off duty. So he was an off-duty Ladonia, Texas police officer working mall security. This was his name. Approached the suspect, Cameron Wilson. The complainant was wearing his police badge on a chain around his neck. The complainant was questioning the suspect concerning the suspect's vehicle being parked in a fire lane. After a verbal confrontation, the suspect entered his vehicle in a 2002 Cadillac. The complainant pointed his pistol at the suspect and ordered him out of his vehicle. The suspect drove his vehicle into the complainant and knocked him down to the ground. No, it didn't. It didn't happen like that, guys. The suspect fled the scene in his 2002 Cadillac, and the complainant was treated at a Plano, Texas hospital for 2 broken arms, a broken wrist, and numerous cuts and bruises. The suspect is at large. So they put out a warrant after my ass for aggravated assault in a motor vehicle. Okay? Now, let me see. Where's the other one? So let me see. Motion to appoint an investigator. Arraignment. Is this one it?
When did all this go down? What year?
Is this one it?
Here's the year. Right here.
Yeah, here we go, right here. Okay, so this happened 2012, right after I lost my leg. Yeah, right after I lost.
Zoom that thing in a little bit. There we go.
Yeah, so right after I lost my leg, 2012, when they finally did all this, right? And they was like aggravated assault against a public servant in a motor vehicle. Look at my bond, bro.
Damn.
Look at my bond, bro. Duh, the most devastating. So I just lose my leg, okay? And then I have this happen to me, right? So what ends up happening is we go to court and everything gets going on. Well, I get K-Ro Johnson. Shout out K-Ro Johnson. What's up, my boy? You already know what's good. I get K-Ro Johnson.
How can they say against an officer if he's not on? That doesn't make any sense. He's not really. He's an officer when he's an officer, and when he's not an officer, he's not an officer.
Well, he's a peace. They was claiming he was a peace officer at the time in which he was doing it. And because he's a police officer, he's out there doing security, so they just filled it in as public servant, which is also includes peace officer. So when we get in there, one of the first things, of course, my guy gets, K-Ro gets an investigator. He investigates, gets all the footage and stuff like that. They see actually what's going on. They start talking about it on the back end. Then my guy goes and hits for a writ of habeas corpus or bond reduction as well. Hits him pretty hard on that. And then he has them literally, after everything goes down, he goes and talks to the state to have them reduce the charges all the way down. So they get to reduce the charges to an assault.
Hold on. Were you aware of a lot of the right to travel stuff, definition of a motor vehicle during this time, or was this before you started getting into all that?
Nah, this before I started getting into all that.
And then the second question is, what were you in custody at this point in time?
No. So what ends up happening, bro, is that oh God. Okay, we're gonna do it. Okay, we're gonna do it. So what ends up happening is that I'm trying to find reduced charge.
Because you have a bond, I'm thinking you're in custody. You can't pay the bond. You know, I'm just trying to get the story down right. You know what I mean?
Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. Okay. So what ends up, before I share this then, what ends up happening is, stop. What ends up happening, okay, when I get home, I tell everybody to leave. I go out into my alley and I hide because I know they're coming, right? I'm dead ass, bro. I'm dead ass. I hide. I was like, I'm going in the alley. I don't want to be over nobody's house right now. I just want to be around my house, and I know they're going to come. They're going to look at my car. And I did. I watched them. I watched 20 cop cars come to my house. They went into my house and everything. Well, in one of my rooms at this point in time, I had a grow going on. I had a weed grow going on in Texas in my one of the rooms. So they go in there and they see that. So I'm knowing that they go into my house and they see that the grow's going on. I'm tripped out and I'm like, okay, I need to move. So that week I find a new house and we move immediately that week. And it was the wildest thing because I put everything that I owned in the back of, I put everything that I owned as far as my grow and everything in the back of one of my homies' trucks. And we took it in the middle of the day across over. Man, it was the most wildest experience ever, bro. We've done some really crazy shit in Texas. Anyway, so we take it over there and we move, right? We move all the way over there. And they end up coming and finding me over there anyways. And they didn't have a warrant for that house. So they was just like, hey, man, if you just come out, you can come out. We're all good. So I get out and then I get arrested for this, right? But then we're going for the bond reduction and everything like that. So K-Ro immediately files for the habeas corpus and the bond reduction. We get the bond reduction. I get about that thing, right?
So you were in custody up until that point. How long were you in custody for? Like just a few days?
Yeah, just like 3 days, 4 days.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it wasn't bad at all. Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. And then I wasn't jailed. I can't remember actually. I'd have to look at the paperwork to figure out all this paperwork.
Did they have a search warrant to go through the first house and find the stuff that they found?
No, not when they originally went. No, just not on that night. They just entered anyways.
Did they take any of it as evidence, or
no,
they
took nothing? No, they took nothing.
Did they ever write a report saying that they found certain things?
I don't
or anything?
know. I don't know. I didn't search into it at that point. I was just happy to be cut off because watch what I'm about to show you. Yeah. So what I'm about to show you now is screen. I was just happy to get about that thing, bro, because that was so nerve-wracking when it happened, bro. Okay, so what ends up happening is that the police report, broke his arms, boom, boom. Okay, so my boy hits for the writ of habeas corpus and the bond reduction. And then
who is this Cairo guy? Is he just like is he an actual? Is he an attorney at law, or is he just a attorney in fact, or is he? He's a full blown. He's a bar card.
Yeah, he's big boy though. He handles none but big boy cases. So then when we come through, they had a judicial confession, and then they stipulated it, right, in relation to making all these changes. And initially, they had, of course, comes down to the defendant in the cause, and this was, of course, a judicial confession. Unlawfully and intentionally, knowingly and recklessly caused serious bodily injury with all this motor vehicle operated said defendant, and by forcing complainant to and against the ground with a motor vehicle operated by said all this bad stuff. They struck all of it out and kept that I struck the complainant with a motor vehicle, not intentionally, not knowingly, not willfully, not like just really trying to hurt dude. That's not what was happening here, right? So when they did that, they also dropped it down from a felony right here down to an assault. Okay, so this assault right here ended up getting me 3 days in jail time served.
So this was all based off of the habeas corpus that your attorney at law had filed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then there was probably some sort of affidavit attached to that or something as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That judicial complaint that we just went over that was stipulated as well. So or confession, should I say? Excuse me. But yeah, so that was like a really crazy experience because the first thing they was throwing at me was 20 years, bro, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm done. I'm done. There's nothing else that and
Lost my
that
leg and then lost my life and right away
it's,
afterward.
yeah,
That's fucked.
it's
That's
like
fucked.
what?
God damn, bro.
But what it made me realize, bro, is that at that moment, going through all that and what they were offering me, and then having K-Ro just get me off completely as just an assault, which I probably shouldn't even have taken that, but he was just like, just take it, man. Just get up out of here and move on with your life. And I was like, cool, I ain't got no tripping on that. So what I'm thinking in this, though, is that as the years went by, that traumatic experience allowed me to understand that lots of other people are going through that traumatic experience, if not worse, dying, suffering, and something has to be done about it. So in all of my, I guess, time span of just learning, and I was mainly focused on history, like I told you in our first meeting, but I had to come into this law thing, and I've been standing on my own now since I moved from Texas up here to Oregon, and I've never been arrested, never got a fine that I paid. They can give me all the fines that they want, but I ain't paying nothing out of me. Ain't no contract, ain't no consent, ain't no contract, ain't no enforcement. So what you gonna do?
Do you have certificates of title for your vehicles?
No, no.
So you just buy them and then you just hold on to the.
Yeah, I got my own affidavit on it.
So do you submit that in, or you
No.
just don't even? Okay,
No.
okay.
I'm the
I'm
highest
tracking with you.
authority. Yeah.
No. I'm trying. No. I just want to understand the title situation, because title, people don't realize title means everything. It's like police do what they do because they think they have title over your car.
You talking
Because
about that D?
99.99% of people, they actually do have title over your car because they are working as basically attorneys in fact on behalf of state of California. If you have a certificate of title, state of California is essentially the trustee or legal owner.
So they have a what?
The registered owner.
So what do they got?
So
They got a security interest. They become
Well,
a
yeah.
co-owner.
Well, no, because if you look up the definition of registered owner, do you know the definition of registered owner?
Well, no. They become a co-owner, though.
Not co-owner, but co-owner can mean that they have 95% and you have 5%. Co-owner can mean they have legal right over everything under the sun, moon, and stars except one tiny little aspect, which is what they give to you. So registered owner. So registered owner means, the definition of registered owner, the legal definition means the name of the individual who has the rights to the profits associated with a commercial activity, right? So they have rights of everything else to the vehicle. And that's why I laugh sometimes, and I'm like, for all the people that are out there who have a certificate of title, you really have two options. One is to get rid of it, and two is to send all the bills and all the operating costs as a delineated bill to them, because technically speaking, you're not supposed to be the one to paying for any operational costs, including gasoline. Basically, the way it works is if you want to get involved with the state, like, I think more people should do stuff like this. I think it'd be hilarious to send an itemized bill at the end of the year to the DMV and say, you guys are responsible for this. I had to get new tires. I had to do this. Because really how it's supposed to work is they pay for everything. You operate the vehicle in commerce, and then you get all the profits from the operation of that vehicle in commerce. That's how it's supposed to work, right? So send them that, and then send them an opportunity to cure, and then send them an intent to litigate, and then sue the DMV because they breach of contract. I would love to see some shit like that. So we talk about right to travel and all this, but like the commercial side of all this, in my opinion, is just as crazy and just as fascinating as the right to travel stuff, because the right to travel stuff is now you're fully privatizing, right? So, anyways, I just wanted to go off on that little tangent. But
No, I think that's good. I think you said a lot there because you're right. When it comes down to it, on your civil side, it's very, 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 very beneficial on the criminal side as well. Because, again, you're learning the ins and outs of the court. Okay, You got criminal, you got civil. Criminal, civil. A lot of them match up. You know that. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the civil match up right with the criminal.
All criminal is essentially civil when you really get down to it, which that was a huge discovery when I was like, what the fuck? I said, every single criminal code is written as though it's a commercial code. And it's like, well, yeah, of course. That's the way it works.
Yeah,
right?
all crimes are civil. 100%.
And it all comes down to the Commerce Clause. That's when everything, One day, this was back in December recently, and I realized every motherfucking road, bro, every single road, U.S. citizen, citizenship, driver's licenses, criminal stuff, Title 18, every motherfucking title, every single thing, everywhere, state, federal, top to bottom. It all comes down to the Commerce Clause, bro. Commerce Clause is literally the centerpiece of everything.
So what I wanna just bring your attention to is I'm really proud of what I've been able to build since, coming onto your show. We started off at the end of November, but this is pretty cool because this is just one of the programs that I use. And this program's cool because it allows me to heavily format legal documents that I'm formulating quickly. And what I just want to bring your attention to is we have 146 projects that we've made now. These projects span from jurisdictional motions to proposed orders, proof of service, um, writs of prohibition. I mean, anything and everything that you can think of, we've developed, right? Including, you want to just see a quick, this right here in criminal aspects, Brandon, is the deepest of the deepest, bro. This right here, a proposed temporary restraining order with a preliminary injunction.
Yeah.
The injunction? Yes, sir. The injunction will stop anything. Anything. If you've got constitutional violations that are happening with any criminal aspect in the courts, an injunction will stop the courts from moving forward, period. Period, bro. There's nothing else to talk about when it comes into it. So what I've done now is you'll see I got like a lot, 146 projects. What we've done is I've built like this Discord, and this Discord is really cool because what you'll notice is right here in the casework, we've got, I don't know, there are over 38 people that we're working with on their cases, as you see here, bro. And these are all people that we're doing, all kinds of paperwork with, bro. And we develop things on the back end, and my people are learning. We give them the documents. They come in here and they give me the documents, and then we start going in, bro. And that's just what we've been doing this whole time ever since, you gave me the idea to start releasing it. And now it's just grown into a full community, bro, where we're just really over here helping people, getting dismissals, getting drops. I mean, it's getting insane out here. Like Wisdom, we just had a dismissal. I could go and try and find it, but it'd be too much to try and look because we're just steady moving. But
Do you want to drop the name of that Discord? I mean, this show will probably get 6 to 12,000 views. So, I mean, it's up to you if you want to drop it.
well, what you could do, I guess, is just put in like a pinned comment, and I could do it like that.
I mean, you could just say it if you want. It's up
Oh,
to you.
okay. Well, the Discord, it's kind of hard. I just have to put the link. Because my link,
Okay.
I have a link like this. Look, it goes bio.site/CJW. And that would be the best thing that I would give because this link goes to literally, well, if my
That's your
internet,
website, and then it has all your links.
yeah, it just got all my links, right? So that's pretty cool. You
Go
got the
ahead and show
Discord.
your YouTube channel real quick so
Okay.
people can see it.
Okay. So YouTube channel is Power Inherent in the People. Okay. And, jeez, come on. Test. What do we got here?
Oh, we lost him.
Moving slow, Papa? No? Oh, yeah. A little bit. Speed it up there, Buster. All right. So we got view your channel. We're back.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
I think you were trying to show a document or something, weren't you?
No, you said something about my YouTube.
Oh yeah, show your YouTube.
Yeah, you said show my YouTube.
Power Inherent in the People.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it's Power Inherent in the People, and we grew this from less than 2,000 to now 15,400 smackaroo peoples coming through. We on the rise, baby boy. We on the rise.
Fuck
So it's
yeah.
been pretty cool, man. Yeah, we just got right now posted up one of the best traffic stops on the internet today. I did not name that. My good friend over at San Joaquin Valley Transparency. It's pretty cool. We got some members going on, but we just released not too long ago about the injunction and the irreparable harm through our Operation Wisdom, which is what we do every Wednesday and Saturday mornings. And yeah, bro, putting out a bunch of shorts and stuff like that. Been having a lot of fun with it, to be honest with you. We did a Carl Miller marathon on Friday night. Carl Miller's 5-hour video.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun with that, dude. That was actually a lot of fun. But then also since then, what we've done is, we brought forth our suit. You know that, right?
No.
What? I brought forth my suit, bro. Yeah.
Let's do
Cameron
it.
Wilson against
show me.
Hood River, baby.
Who is it against Hood? Oh, Hood River. That's just so fucking funny.
Hood
River, bro.
Mm-hmm. Hood River. Hood Rats. Hood River. Yep. So we're in this thing, Papa Bear. We got I just filed my amended complaint on the 3rd. So.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me about that. That shit's hilarious.
Yes, sir. So my tactic was to come in with a little old weak boy. Came in with a weak one. I let them give me a response, and guess what? They did not hit me with a 12B. You want to see what they did?
Are you serious?
They didn't hit me with a 12B, brother. They hit me with an answer, though. They did hit me with an answer, but not a 12B. No, sir. They did not try and dismiss. So we've got action. We got an answer back. They answered. They affirmed some, and they denied some others. As you can clearly see, denied, and they admit, yes, sir. But again, I didn't include everything in the first one. So they, hit me for a failure to state a claim on the first one, a qualified immunity, a probable cause. There's no probable cause. A reasonable suspicion, and an officer's safety, and then only reasonable force use. I don't know why you would need to use reasonable force on someone walking on the sidewalk, but hey, I guess it was reasonable according to them. Shit. So we'll see how the
now
court thinks about that.
from my experience, when you file an amended complaint, it starts that whole cycle again from the 0-yard line. Are you aware of that or no?
So, and that's perfectly fine with me. That's perfectly fine with me.
Now they're going to either do another answer or they're going to do a 12B6 depending on what's in the new complaint. But it basically you just kind of reset the clock essentially. Mm-hmm. So just so you know, just so you're aware of that.
Well, this is a good point to bring up too, since you went ahead and did that, is the aspect that a lot of people think that you have to do a stay or a leave to do a leave of the court to get permission to go ahead and do an amended complaint. But actually, by rule and right, you have every right to go ahead and file an amended complaint within the first 21 days of an answer back from the defendant. Okay, you don't need to go to the court and ask. You can just file that bad boy within 21 days. After the initial 21 days, from the response back from the defendant, if you want to do an amended complaint, you do have to get permission.
Motion for leave.
Why is all of this stuff going on with? Is everything still working okay with me? I'm having another issue.
Yeah, I just got a notice too, but on my end, everything looks fine.
Mine says restart studio. I'm hesitant to click it.
I'm gonna stop the recording for a minute.
Jeez. Okay, so like we were saying here,
we're back.
We were trying to get into, we're back again. We were trying to say here, as I was going into the aspect of that one where I got pulled over, I finally filed this, and we filed the amended complaint, right? We just spoke on that aspect there. And this is the amended one, so I went even deeper in on them. Okay, I went deep on this one. There ain't no getting out of this one. We've got 90 of them now, okay, as far as statements of facts being concerned. And they got to either, deny or admit to each one of these now. And then we just strengthened up our claims even stronger. And this time what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and put in some monetary values here. Where is it at? Monell claim, unconstitutional. Where's my monitor? There it is. Where's my prayer? So I went ahead and asked for compensatory on this one at $60,000 and then punitive at $300.
Nice.
So, yeah, we're asking for $10,000 for every minute that I was in cuffs, and then $300,000 from every officer at least for what occurred here. I think that's fair.
Are you hitting them with conspiracy? Is there conspiracy charging here?
No, I didn't hit them with a conspiracy on this one. I didn't want to. I hit them for unlawful seizure and false arrest. I hit them for an excessive...
Wait. That's 42 USC. No, 1983. It's all...
Yes, sir. Under Fourth Amendment.
83. The next one's 83. Okay, 83. What's the next one?
Excessive force. 83 as well. Retaliation.
83.
Right, because I'm hitting him for the retaliation because what I did as soon as he came up to me, he said, you're either coming to come down here with me right now in front of your car or I'm going to arrest you for obstruction. I started asking badge numbers on that boy. As soon as I turned around and asked the third one, they put me in handcuffs, turned off my phone. So that's retaliation. I went to go record, and you want to do what you do. 83.
I can't believe you didn't go 85 on that one.
I didn't. Violation, due process, equal protection.
85 is like 10x everything, right? 10x all the damages and everything. I'm just letting you know.
That's
you
good.
You can bring it up. I mean, I'm just saying, you can always bring it up during these too. And then Do you know about 86? You know about 1986?
Yes. Go ahead and inform me some more, though, if you've utilized it in any aspects that are beneficial.
42 USC 1986 says here, I'm not going to do a screen share, but every person who having knowledge of any of the wrongs
Yes.
in an 85.
Okay, in an 85 correlated.
And they failed to prevent the 85 from occurring would be an 86. And then also keep in mind, there's also a special, it's called a special jurisdiction. There's actually literally an entire different, it's called extra territorial jurisdiction that you can get when you plug in 85 claim. It's a special extra jurisdiction just for 85s.
Okay, I like that. And what's good about that is the aspect that I did with the first LEO who approached me. I told him I reserve all rights, including my right to remain silent. And dude said, that's your right. That's your right to do so. Yeah, by all means. So it's a confirmation, but then again, he never let the other officer know when he came up to violate. So that is a good point you're bringing. I brung in kidnapping. I included kidnapping in on this one just due to the fact that he was pointing at me at the chest. The officer was putting his finger in my chest saying, you would consider this kidnapping. Well, since you brought it up, I guess we might as well now, right? Since you said
contractual definition. That's hilarious, bro.
Since you brung it up. So yeah, we got that filed, and we just brought that in on the 3rd of this month on the amended. So we'll start hitting them with a flurry of motions here soon on that one. And then I guess the only other update I did want to do real quick then is the aspect that I just released my second book, which is called Self-Governing, bruh. And yeah, bruh. And you want to know why? You want to know why? This is why right here. So let me show you. I was doing research, and I was already developing a new book in relation to corpus delicti, no verified complaint, lack of ratification of commencement, just a lot of deeper principles in relation to process of courts and how you combat them on the front end, right? But as I was going into development on that, I really wanted to incorporate, because I'm big on the creator. I don't subscribe to any religion per se, but I am big on spirituality and knowing that I am a creation of the creator. And there's me and my beliefs, which may be different from others, it's okay, but I believe that there's a spark of God in each and every single person. And I think when I'm looking through another person's eyes, I'm looking at God, in a sense. That's how I visualize. That's how I think of it. But the reason why I utilize self-governing in this is because of this joint resolution, which was signed May 3rd of 1940. And it goes into authorizing the President of the United States of America to proclaim that I am an American Citizen Day for the recognition, observance, and commemoration of American citizenship. And it says in this preamble, whereas 2 million young men and women in the United States each year reach the age of 21 years, and whereas it is desirable that the sovereign citizens of our nation be prepared for the responsibilities and impressed with the significance of their status in our self-governing republic. And then what was really cool about this one is down here at the bottom there, hyping it up, and it says, either at the time of the rendition of the decree of naturalization and such other times as the judge may fix, the judge or someone designated to him shall address the newly naturalized citizens. I understand, Brandon. You don't got to beat me up on this. I'm just saying. Upon the form and genius of our government and the privileges, I understand. Don't beat me up. Responsibilities of the citizenship. Don't beat me up. It being the intent and purpose of this section to enlist the aid of the judiciary in cooperation with civil and educational authorities and patriotic organizations. They included saying, bring in the patriotic organizations to support our highest citizens of our nation. Now I get it. Don't beat me up.
Well, I laugh a little bit because if you look at the definition of person straight out of Title 8, the definition is an individual or an organization. And then you go down to organization, 8 U.S.C. 1101, subsection 828, and it includes incorporated or unincorporated groups of any type anywhere doing anything. Basically, it's the most fucking generic goddamn. Technically speaking, this show is an organization, which would be a person which actually has a nationality. And how do we give this show a nationality? By conferring the nationality of a state upon this show or the group associated with this show after birth by any means whatsoever, which would be naturalization from 8 U.S.C. 1101, subsection 823. We could name this show Cameron James Williams, and then we can put Cameron James Williams on an SS4 form, get an EIN number for Cameron James Williams, and then we can take that EIN number to the Department of State, fill out a DS-11 form, get rejected because they're not going to give us a passport for our organization, which does have a nationality. We can sue the Department of State, and I guarantee you we win. We get a passport issued for this literally for this group on this podcast.
Bro, what a better name than Cameron James Williams. Don't get better than that. Damn, bro. The blend of the two. Wow. That was awesome. That was
Too
so
funny,
cool.
huh?
Yeah, that was
Too
good.
funny, huh?
That's good. Yeah, so we're hyped, bro. We're really hyped on just everything that's flowing and going. You know, we've got this one. We've got the arbitration and the mediation, right? Coming up with the cease and desist letter that got sent out where I got termination, illegal termination, breach of contract. Contract law is the highest. We've got another Ridgefield, a complaint that we're going to be filing before April. So we got 2 complaints about to go and fully rolling, and plus all the others that we're working on too in the back end through Operation Wisdom. So it's exciting, bro. You've actually been to an Operation Wisdom. How'd you enjoy it?
I thought I was pretty impressed. It was beyond what I had expected. My expectations for those kind of things are usually pretty low. It was actually pretty cool. There was one dude who was talking for a while. He was very, very passionate. You were trying to chill him out.
Tanawa?
Yeah, you were trying to chill him out a little bit because he was just going off like fucking hard as fuck, bro.
Ryan, that's
and
my boy, Ryan.
You were trying to be like, ain't nobody want to listen to fucking 9 hours of terminology, but you could tell the guy would die for this, and that's what matters. That's what matters because you can have all the discords and all the documents and all the free templates and everything, but I have on my resources and documents page on the Amnesty Coalition, documents don't mean shit. What matters is the intent and the desire that you have to get things done, and your people who toss documents into dockets and then they kind of wait and listen and hope for the best. I hope you fucking lose. That's not how this works. You throw that shit in there, and you're standing by the door with a shotgun because you're just waiting for it to get done. And if it ain't gonna get done, you're gonna come back and make it get done. And that's how we get things done. That's how the courtroom works. That's how all of life works. People think that the courtroom is unfair, but this is how all of life is. I mean, you can say life is unfair, I suppose, but it's just I don't think the courtroom is that much different than real life, honestly.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to get anything done, it's. I mean, working on cars is a great example. You think you're going to go change out a couple bolts and flip this thing out, and then you wind up in a 9-hour project that costs 14 times more than you thought it was going to be.
Thanks. Yeah.
So I just don't think that. I think people just walk around in this state of perpetual optimism, and I think that's why people wind up becoming exhausted because they go in. I try to go into everything thinking that it's going to be 10 times harder than what I could imagine it could be.
Yep.
And then when it's 4 times harder than what I imagined it could be, I'm relieved. I'm like, damn, life is easy. Life is easy.
Yep.
Life is easy.
I got a good example for that. Like I was saying, my golden child, Luis, he came in not knowing anything, came in hot and heavy, and he hasn't fizzled out. But on his last interaction or hearing this last week, he went against the grain. He went against the plan. He went against what had already been prepped as far as chess moves. And, sometimes there's a process with this. With me, I just went and just kind of referenced it to the Oz or following the yellow brick road, right? Sometimes people come in and they just want to throw in something that they heard real quick that they think it's going to work, whatever the case may be, right? Like Luis was a prime example. He came in this past Monday, and he just came into the court on a status hearing and started bringing up an affidavit without filing a motion to attach the affidavit to or anything. And he's calling out a mistrial. And the judge is all like, what are you doing, bro? Like, where's a motion? Are you going to file a motion? We're here for a status hearing, bro. Are we going to trial? Are you ready to go to trial? Like, what are we doing here? And it made him look really bad from everything that he had previously done the week before because there was an already plan of action. The judge had already said, go ahead and give us a notice and demand for dismissal on unconstitutionally as applied, statute as applied. Also give us the points of authority with that, so a memorandum in support of that. Because what had happened is the previous week he had filed a motion to dismiss, but it was under 8.3 under the statutory framework side. So they looked at it as from a statutory point of view because he hadn't put in the points and authorities based based on an unconstitutional framework. So the judge was so good because he broke it down and told us on the record there in court, hey man, we're looking at it from a statutory framework side. That's how this motion is. You've brought forth a motion. It's not a notice and demand, unconstitutionally as applied. That's how you've brought it as. So we have to look at it from a statutory point. So what we did is we come back and we say, okay, now we're going to hit him for a notice and demand, right, with a memorandum of support with all the points of authorities on the constitutional framework side, right? So he was supposed to do that, and he didn't, right? So now, I had to sit him back and really kind of teach him again and break him down that, bro, you have to follow the process. They've got you set right now for trial sitting on the 19th of February. You ain't even got discovery. You ain't even had your evidentiary hearing. You ain't even filed for a motion for a more definite statement so you can get your bill of particulars around there. There's so many different elements that must be met in the process. And that's why I say we got to be like ping pong, because all sometimes we got to do is ping that bad boy right back to him, put all the work back on them. Because, again, it's all without a reasonable doubt to prove what they have against us or the claims that are being brought forth. And that's just something that's very powerful, is to see the people actually retain the knowledge, then utilize it. Instead of just holding my hand, it's like, here, let me help you. Let me give you the knowledge. Now stand up like a big boy. And now we just got wins coming through. And my boy Miguel, shout out Miguel, what's up if you're watching? Miguel come through and just today he just dropped a motion out that he's about to hit, or not even a motion, a demur. He's going to hold demur route on them boys. You dig what I'm saying? Rid of mandamus aspects. And it's just like, oh, my people are waking up. And I get boners over that shit, bro.
Yeah, me too, bro. Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%. I mean, I'm like all in on the financials. Negotiable instruments. The problem that I'm running into, and it's no secret, everything I do is literally on recap. You don't even need a fucking Pacer account. It's just everything filed into I'm crazy. I'm a crazy person. Sovereign citizen. This is all untrue. This has all been proven false for decades. From all they don't say anything. It's all just these generalized comments. And the problem that I'm running up against is there are a lot of people that have brought what I'm trying. They didn't really bring what I'm trying to bring to the table, but it's close enough to where I get shuffled in with a Mount Everest of retarded people coming in with A for V's and accepted for values and all this stuff that has literally nothing to do with anything. 1099A, which I don't even think is a fucking negotiable instrument at all. I think it's a reporting form. That was a big mistake on my part because I spent like 7 months just trying to figure that out and wasting my time. Yeah. So I'm running up against this like tremendously large wall of failures and horse shit, and I'm bringing a new conversation into the arena, but either A, no one wants to see it as a new conversation, or B, they really don't see it as a new conversation. I can't figure that out either. So I'm running up against just a tremendous amount of preconceived ideas, prejudice, and it's been extremely difficult for me to get any traction. But my solution is just continue to implement more aspects of the local rules. I've been implementing a lot of the rules of evidence recently, which I think is a big breakthrough. We've been implementing the rules of professional conduct. That's been new. Affidavits. That's been new. A lot of things just trying to put additional pressure on just trying to get any traction at all so we can actually speak about, because the cool thing about my situation is on the front end it's very, very difficult, but I do know for sure on the back end it's going to be super, super easy, because once we can actually get into the merits of the case, I'm going to slaughter every motherfucker walking the earth, bro. They literally don't stand a chance in fucking hell. You could tie my arms and my legs together, blindfold me, ball gag me, and put me in a gimp suit, and I'm gonna rip every fucking atom out of your body and burn it within seconds. I mean, literally, it's just like there's not even gonna be of fucking competition. And I think that's partially what there's a lot of fear of that too, because I think people do know that if we get into the merits of these cases, this guy is going to absolutely slaughter everyone in the arena. So, and then I've got some stuff in the appeals court too. So, I have an appeals case with my Amex stuff. It's been sitting there since November 14th. There hasn't been a fucking peep. And you got to think, at appeals, it becomes precedent. So they're looking at it like, if we fucking do this with this guy and it becomes precedent, then in the Ninth Circuit, all of California is going to fucking explode. So, what I'm doing is it has a whole separate set of rules and difficulties, and I'm just showing up over and over and over and over again for battle, and I come very well prepared, very well trained, ready for combat, and every time I arrive, it's there's some excuse. So
let me ask you this: have you not looked into utilizing injunctions?
Well, there's nothing to injunct. There's nothing to. No, there's nothing to. Yeah, there's nothing to. Yeah, there's nothing to injunct. I mean, these are all cases.
Okay, well, let's think of it like this: if someone is coming to make a claim against you that you owe them or something for something, right? Don't you want to stop that?
Well, we're not trying to stop.
Because what is being caused here? Let's think about this. You got to think about it on a deeper aspect. Let's say, for instance, that you get a vehicle or you had a credit card and the fake money has disappeared. It's gone, and someone's coming after you for something, right? And what is then happening?
No one's coming after. That's the problem. No one's coming after me. I'm going after them, and they're trying to get away from me. It's the opposite.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just say that's the case, and I look at it like this, man. I look at it in the term that's deepest to me, which is what's called irreparable harm. Have you utilized that term yet?
Well, yeah, of course. Theft.
Okay.
It's essentially theft, and it's most basic. But the problem is that
irreparable harm?
It'd be theft. It'd be like a theft claim or like a irreparable harm.
Well, irreparable harm more falls into the aspect of a harm that can not be monetarily compensated for. Example.
Mine would be fully, pretty much. Well, it's.
You have something. You don't have no PTSD? You haven't had no stress that you can't get rid of now? Has this not directly changed your life to where you can't operate like you did before? Because you see what I'm saying? There's could be many plays here when you really think about it.
We've done peonage. Peonage actually has a civil side. It's 42 U.S.C. 1994.
Okay.
So I went through a bunch of different gyrations. At first, we were using Title 18. That didn't go well. They said we didn't have a private right of action. So we ended up getting a motion for leave. We replaced all of those with different claims, most of which were either tort claims. And then I found 42 U.S.C. 1994, which is a civil side peonage. We started using that one. Mm-hmm. So we started using all that kind of stuff. It's been kind of a long process for me to kind of figure out how to navigate a lot of the procedural stuff and all that. And then I have brought a lot of that stuff, and it's like, how do we prove a lot of this stuff? I guess that's kind of it too. Mm-hmm. So we're starting to get into affidavits, but I can't even get that far. I'm not able to get that far. I'm not able to get far enough to where the damages are even in question.
So you're attacking them to get action back from them, right? From the fraud aspect?
It's the fraud. So if you have a mortgage and you sign the mortgage, the value of the mortgage includes all of the interest. So if it says 5% interest over 30 years, the value of the negotiable instrument itself is the full value, including the entire maturity value of the instrument. Mm-hmm. When they pay you for the loan, quote unquote, it's not a loan, it's a currency exchange, they're not giving you the full value of the original face value of the note. They're giving you the principal value only, and they're failing to give you the interest value on the note. So what it is it's peonage and all these various things too, but it's also theft, because the thing is that you paid me $60,000 on an $80,000 note. So the thing is it's not adequate consideration. So we go off on
Right.
it. But the problem is that no one has ever brought any sort of claim like this anywhere, and they've never seen anything like it ever, and they just think I'm just batshit crazy, and that's basically it. I mean, that's so that's been the struggle. The struggle is just
So
you're
the
a fucking
struggle has
madman.
been, okay, so you're a madman, but you haven't been able to articulate the facts enough to them to be able to allow them to see the way you see it.
I've written these claims in several different ways, and then as we go through the process of them trying to dismiss it and me trying to defend the dismissal, I try to go through it several other ways. And so if you look at any of my cases, you'll see the complaint, and then you'll see all these filings, and it's me trying to describe or explain things in many, many, many different ways with many, many different explanations and angles. And I think I've gotten a lot better at explaining it. And I think, like, for example, implementing the rules of evidence and trying to bolster a lot of those communications with affidavits. And then now we're starting to go on the offensive very aggressively. For example, the rules of professional conduct, rule 3.7 is something that, very, very few people know much about. And professional rule of conduct 3.7 is talking about how an attorney can't be both a witness and an advocate. And what's happening in pretty much every case is the attorney at law is being a witness and an advocate at the same time. Mm-hmm. Witnesses, they're talking about what they think they know firsthand knowledge, right? But if you look at rules of evidence 602 and 603, rules of the witness or any sort of like personal knowledge or information has to be under oath or under some kind of an oath,
right?
In order to be introduced as evidence, and then it has to be. So what we started doing is we started to attack that aspect, and if the attorney wants to act as though he's a witness, we want to have a chance to cross-examine him, and then as a witness, and then also he is no longer an advocate; he'd be a witness at that point. So we're trying to attack that very strongly as well as sort of like a rule or law. So we're just trying to figure out a way to get off of the defensive, constantly trying to describe or explain the claim in various ways to try to get some semblance of understanding. And we're trying to dig ourselves in a little bit more and get more standing in the court in an effort to try to get more of a hearing or get some kind of anyone to just listen to the claims, essentially.
Response.
That's what we're trying to do. So.
And they're not really responding much to you. They're just pulling off some kind of quick defense that's not really giving you eligibility to. And I'll send it to you. You're going to see him. I'll send you a text. He's over here clowning me on the back end before we started this recording. That's why your dumbass needs to go get a wire. Your Wi-Fi sucks. And I'm just like, dude, leave me alone. So I told him I'm about to go get one.
So real quick. So anyone out there doing shows or getting on shows or anything, 2 secrets. The easiest fucking things in the world. Secret number 1, always be hardwired into your router. Never, ever do Wi-Fi unless you're on Zoom because you're going to get 280p. It looks like a CRT fucking, those huge monitors that weighed 60 pounds back in 2004.
Chill, bro.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right on Wi-Fi. You get on Zoom, all right? But if you want to play with the big boys like StreamYard or Riverside, like if you aren't hardwired in, bad things can happen. And then the second thing is echo cancellation. Wear headphones. That's it, bro. And honestly, part of it's my bad too. I really should tell guests like these things before they come on. I do it occasionally. I'll tell guests, and they'll be like, "What do you mean? I'm the Wi-Fi is only like 400 feet from my computer," and I'm like, "Bro, I'm like killing me, bro. You're killing me, bro.
Me. That's not
I'm
me.
Dying.
By the way. It's not.
I'm dying.
It's not. I promise.
So
yeah.
So we're gonna wrap it up anyways. So it's all good.
Yeah.
It's an absolute pleasure having you on the show as always.
Thanks, Papa.
Keep it rocking. I hope a lot of my people follow your stuff, and I don't typically say that. I typically say don't go anywhere near anybody else's stuff. But you're definitely an exception. I think what you're doing is amazing. I did see the meeting that we had on that one Wednesday, and yeah, I just think it's fucking awesome. And I think that people who are interested in litigation associated with the right to travel should definitely be following your stuff. I think there's a lot of people who, even in my circles, they're getting pulled over. It doesn't happen very often, but they get pulled over and then they get the plates taken, the diplomatic plates that I have, and then they get hit with forgery, same thing, right? So there's not that many of those. Typically, honestly, 97% of my people don't get bothered. They'll even get tailed, and they'll actually be watching the police officer in the rearview mirror, and he's just like totally fucking confused as to what he's looking at, and then he's like, fuck it, and just drives off. So we get a lot of that kind of stuff, but there is the smaller percentage of people who are getting into some troubles with this stuff. And I think that if they were to head over to your channel and get some help on putting together their complaints, because every single person that I have talked to regarding this, they are very excited about putting together a complaint and moving forward on the civil side. So I think that is, if you are interested in doing that, it becomes kind of a funny thing, because my platform isn't really set up for specific, like, right to travel type litigation, whereas yours is. Mine is pretty much more negotiable instruments if you're trying to get into litigation, right? So I do hope that, of the people who do like my stuff and follow my stuff that are kind of heading in that direction, they do follow you and check out your stuff. And I think what you're doing is amazing, and I'm excited to see more of it. So
I appreciate it, Papa. Yeah, it's very exciting. Not just on my end, but a people's end in general. The knowledge is just raising so much, and with that becomes unity, and we just actually move into something that's a lot more powerful than what we've seen in more recent years, which is a dumbing down of our public. And as we come into this age of enlightenment, as I'm seeing it, I'm just seeing a lot more people hungry for knowledge, retaining it, reciting it, and then knowing and standing on that power. Which is just everything, man. It means so much to me. So I'm so blessed to have been on your show, and so thankful that you allow me to be on your show, and honestly just being a friend, because we talk on the back end fairly often, and it's been a pleasure, man. And I can't wait to come down to Cali and meet you in person and just hang out and continue to bring the power of knowledge to the people, man, because that's what it's about. So
yeah, we'll do some joy rides, get some GoPros popping, get some police activity going. You'll see me live ambassador at large with these guys. We'll see them. I've never done it. I've never gotten. Dude, cops! I swear to God, bro, I've got an 800 horsepower Shelby GT500 and a 200 horsepower 1200 cc motorcycle. Both are straight piped. There's not mufflers on either one. Loud as shit, driving around. I mean, when I'm in my car, I think I'm fairly chill, 80 miles an hour most of the time. Yeah. Sometimes I'll get a little bored. On the bike, I'm just a bat out of hell. I'm just absolute fucking berserker on the bike. Yeah. No problems, no cops, no one behind me, no nothing. So I don't know. I'm of a different mentality where when you start to really understand this stuff and you start to really understand who you are, right? I have so many people, so many reports, so many things, these things just don't come into your world anymore. It's just, you become, it's almost like a vaccine. You become immune to the idea that it could even happen to begin with. So that's obviously just a theory I have. But
visualization is everything. Visualization is everything.
Yeah, I'm also in LA, where like pulling somebody over on the side of the road, it's just not their priority. They've got 9 million people killing each other and everything else, so there's also that. And then the politics here are really, really hot and heavy. The cops are kind of hated on both ends of the stick. On the political side, they're hated, and on the civilian side, they're kind of hated. I've actually talked to plenty of LAPD officers who told me that. So, it's an interest, and I've had many people who moved to Texas or Tennessee from LA, and then they're like, I was living in LA 15 years, never got pulled over, never got a ticket. Within the first 6 months of being in Dallas or Austin, I got tickets and all this. So, I think there's more aspects to it than just that. But I'm still of the theory that when you really get something down and you're not thinking much of it anymore, it just becomes, it's sort of integrated into your life, into your personality, and then you kind of create your own reality to some degree.
Yeah,
You know.
fact. You do create your own reality. When you're, but that's the beauty again of being a creation of the creator.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we just got to start acting on it. And there's been a lot of the aspects of us against them for so long
Yeah,
in
exactly.
everything. And we just need to get back to we're all us again. And I know people have been hesitant to do that because they're like, oh, they're doing that for a one world government. It's like, no, stupid. Like, we need to come back together as one people again so that we stop having these stupid tragedies all the time. Both on the financial aspect, such as you're doing, and then on the criminal aspect, right to travel and more. I mean, we're beyond right to travel now, bro. We're actually fighting people who are filing injunctions against our people. Like, that's where it's at.
Damn, there you go.
Yeah, bro. So we're getting in deep with it, bro. So, yeah, we're having lots of fun, and it's very exciting. And, man, I just can't wait to continuously grow with you and everybody else and the people. Very exciting times.
After you get an Ethernet cable.
Man, I'm out of here right now.
Okay, I'm good. He just left. He actually left on purpose that time. Okay, we're done.